So in the last part we just saw how to create an image that can a Docker image that can run as an arbitrary user, and the image was also staged such that it has only the required components. Now this image has been moved to OpenShift, so I did not have a registry to use, so I use certain other methods to transfer the image here. So now the image is available in OpenShift and it is part of a pod. So let's have a quick overview on OpenShift, and then let's get into our project and the artifacts created there. So when you come to OpenShift, when you say you need to log into OpenShift, when you say OC get nodes, you'll be able to see one master node and a number of worker nodes. You can have more than one master node as well. In this case we find that the master node is also the infrastructure node. So this is OpenShift version 3.11. The master node contains components that are used to manage other resources, such as the API controller, the scheduler, uh, and certain other controllers, along with the etcd database, which contains details on various resources. Whatever resources we create, right, as a user, they will all go and be placed inside the worker. So when it comes to resources, there are different types of resources, such as a deployment, which comes from Kubernetes, the deployment config, which is specific to OpenShift. We also have config maps, services, routes are specific to OpenShift, and we also have something called as the horizontal pod autoscaler. So what we have to notice here is OpenShift is built on top of Kubernetes, and all resources that are available in Kubernetes are also available for us in OpenShift. So OpenShift allows us to create a number of projects, and now we have created project com IBM MDM, and we will be deploying our resources on in this project. So OpenShift also allows you to enable security using resources such as the service account, roles and role binding. Uh, uh, we would be using them minimally currently. So we have created an image, right? So out of this image we can spin something called as a container, and the container will be placed in an OpenShift pod. So essentially a pod contains one or more containers and 0 or more volumes. So we just created the MDM image, right? We first created a container and then we created an image out of it. In this image we are not storing any state. In our container we are not storing any state. So our MDM containers are stateless and we do not use any persistent volumes here. So these are the pods that we are seeing here. This deploy pod is created automatically by OpenShift, and these are the two pods that we wanted. And if you see here, when we say OC describe pod, it is able to provide us certain details corresponding to the pod, including the namespace in which it is present, the labels it has, annotations, and the node in which it is placed, and so on. It also has an IP assigned to it. So what happens is, all that we tell to OpenShift is, see, I want something called as a deployment config to be created, and I want two replicas here. As you see here, there are two replicas. Once we say this, the OpenShift internally takes certain decisions on which node to place these, which worker node to place these pods. That would depend upon a number of reasons, including the space that is available on the worker nodes. It is also possible for you to specify certain additional parameters to place the pods at certain specific nodes, but in this example we are not doing we are not making use of any such facility. We are also able to see certain other details, such as the requests for the CPU and memory, and as well as the limits for the CPU and memory. So this means you need to place my pod only in a node that has a 1 core CPU and that has a 4G memory. So this is a sample request that we have placed. It is not mandatory that the same values are to be used by the customer. They can change it based on their environment. So the thing is, we need to ensure that we provide sufficient CPU and memory in order to ensure that the pod functions fast and as as per our requirement. You also see something called here as the readiness and liveness. So these are props using which the OpenShift can take certain actions upon our pod. We will go through those actions in some time. So these are the parameters that we provide to OpenShift. Along with this, we also need to provide the name of the image that has to be used, and we are also providing something here called as the config map MDM host, from which the system can take up environment variables. So this config map is a resource in OpenShift, and in a short while we'll also see the details of this config map. So along with details that we provide, it is also showing us certain other events that have taken place. So the system has been possible, it has successfully obtained the image that has to be used, and it has started the container, right? So all these details are available to us. So the very same details can also be obtained from the web console corresponding to the OpenShift container platform. So here we are in our project COM IBM MDM FP11, and we are in our project we are in a project COM IBM MDM, and we will be able to see the pods that are here. So there are two pods now. The deploy pod has died after, it has completed its job and it is no longer available. So these are the pods that we wanted, and all the details that we noticed there are also available for us here. So if you come here, along with these, right, you're able to see certain additional details on the pod, the age, how long the pod has been, how long it is since the pod has been created, whether the container has restarted anytime in between. It is not restarted, so it is showing 0. Is our container ready to accept requests? Will it be able to function properly? So all these details are also displayed here when we see this. It is also possible to obtain these details using the command line as well. So actually what we wanted OpenShift to create was a deployment config. So we have provided our details in the form of a YAML file that we want a deployment config, and this deployment config needs to have 2 replicas. So based on this, the system has created something called as the replication controller, and this replication controller always keeps a watch on our pods, and it ensures that 2 replicas of the pod are always available. That's what we see from the details here. So let us take a quick peek at our deployment config file. So this is the file that we have used here. If you see here, we are saying the replicas is 2. We are providing something called as a strategy. It is something to be used by the system when there is an update done to the configuration. There are 2 values that can be used here. One is recreate and the other is rolling update, and customer can choose an appropriate value here. So when you say recreate, what happens is all the pods corresponding to the current version will die, and only then will be terminated, and only after that new pods corresponding to the new version will be created. We are also providing certain other details. The image pool secret is important, especially when you are using a remote registry, wherein you will need to store a secret, your login credentials in this specific secret REGCRED. These values are all modifiable by the customer. They can change these values based on their environment. We are giving something called as the startup script, which is the script that will get executed when the container just starts up, and we have also given something called as the we are requesting it to take the environment variables from a config map by name MDM host. We will see that that config map. We have provided an image name. This image is available locally, and we have given something called as an image pull policy. We have asked it to pull the image only if it is not present. So the other option available here is always. If you say always, it will end up pulling the image always. So this detail can also be changed by the customer based on their environment. We are giving a name for our container, and we just had a look at the CPU request and limits. The limits do not actually play a very major role here, but the requests play a major role in deciding the node on which our resource will be placed. This is a list of ports that are exposed by our container, and there is something called as the readiness probe and the liveness probe, which we will have a deep dive into. We are also giving a host alias for our pod, so the host name of MDM host will be added there. Now let's have a quick look into the config map. So this contains the environment variables, and it just mentions certain environment variables that we will be using in our container. Let's have a look into the other components in the next video.